Hello. Okay, can you hear me now? I did the intro perfectly and there was no sound. So let me know if you can hear me now. I've got a couple people on watching live. Yay! Hello, Lee. Are we good now? Can you hear me? Yes. Yay! Oh, technical issues were so much fun. So today we are on week 4 already of our Sister Shawl Mystery Knit Along. And I released section 4 this morning, and I'm sharing with you section 3 today. How fun! I've been doing a little tidying in my office, so you can see things move around a little bit. Everything in that basket right now is vintage scraps. And then I've cleaned up some of my shelf up here. It's getting better, not bad. Lots of junk still on the floor. I still need a new cupboard in here. So one of these days I'll get one. Just looking for the right one, I guess. So I wasn't sure I was gonna make it actually. We had at home here we're with Sunwire, and the Sunwire kicked out this morning, and we had no internet for hour and a half maybe. So I was giving it till 1:15, and then I was gonna use my data and go on and say, sorry, no live today, we'll move it till tomorrow, but we made it on, yay! In other Sudbury news, something turned 60 today, did you guys know? It's the Big Nickel. The Big Nickel is 60 years old. I didn't realize that that's how young it was. Actually, my daughter said the same thing. She's like, what do you mean it's only 60? You mean dad's older than the Big Nickel? Yes, my husband is older than the Big Nickel. I am not, but my husband is. If you're not from Sudbury, we have a Big Nickel that was made long time ago. I can't remember now who commissioned it. It's the old queen's father that's on the other side of the Big Nickel, and on the one side is his face. I can't remember what his name was, whatever. And then on the other side is smokestack. It looks like. So that was created 60 years ago today. It was, I guess, revealed. And I've gone to see it many times as a kid. I've taken my kids up there too. It's not quite as well. I can't say I've been in now when it's now that it's Dynamic Earth there. I've just been over to visit it a couple of times. When I was a kid, you used to be able to drive just past it, and over on the other side, you could see Inco doing slag dumping and really cool stuff like that. But now you can go up and see the Big Nickel anytime. There's some parking and stuff up there, and you can walk up to it, and they have some things around that you can see or read information about it. But Dynamic Earth also has a little mining tour that you can go in and do. I have not done that yet. That's new since I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was just the Big Nickel up there. You'd go up and you'd see the nickel, and then you'd leave. So yeah, I've heard that Dynamic Earth is really great and fun, but I usually take the kids over to Science North. We haven't done that in a while. They're getting old. So what have you guys been up to today? I have been out picking raspberries this morning. Actually, my raspberries are doing super great. I got so I go out and pick them, and I usually use a 2-liter bucket. You know those old ice cream containers? We get Parlor ice cream usually all the time. Either that or I get the big, huge, cheap ones from the grocery stores. They're like, I guess technically it's ice milk, but whatever. So I take out a plastic bucket and I fill that up. Got it filled up today. So I picked 2 liters of raspberries this morning. And then I flash freeze them in the freezer. So that means you lay them out on cookie sheets, and then you freeze them, and then once they're frozen, you dump them into something else to keep them. So we usually use old ice cream containers for those too, because the containers are meant to be in the freezer, so why not? So yeah, I picked 2 liters this morning. I thought that was pretty good. Not bad at all. That's the only food gardening I do. Honestly, by the time I get my act together, I don't have enough time, or it's too late in the season to start planting stuff, so I never do. Do you guys plant gardens? I wish I had time to do more. I used to when I was a stay-at-home mom. We did a little bit more. We had some tomato plants and stuff, and I tried growing like cucumbers and zucchinis and stuff like that one year. And yeah, but since we've moved out here and then I started working again, just no time. No time at all. So we're on to section 4, OMG, of our Sister Shawl Mystery Knit-Along. Yay! Did everybody download the section already and start? I have whipped through section 4 and section 5 is now completed. Well, section 5 is off my needle. Linda says lots of gardeners over here, gardens over here, food and flowers and water garden too. Yes, Linda's backyard looks lovely. I've always seen her front yard when I've gone to drop stuff off. But she has a fabulous backyard as well. She's posted a few pictures periodically on Facebook because we're friends on Facebook. So I've got to see them. I wish I had more time for that kind of stuff, but I also don't know a lot about plants, so I'm not very good. I've done 12 rows of section 4 already. It just came out this morning. Speed knitter over there. Well, actually, I guess the first few are pretty easy. I forget now. It's been a while since I did it. I haven't got mine off the needle quite yet. It's still attached. Yeah, the first 6 are easy-ish. Anybody else got any progress on theirs yet? Kelly says, wow, Linda. Yes, Linda's a bit of a keener. She loves section 3, which we're going to show off shortly. But section 4 got released this morning. So section 4 is similar to section 2, but not 100%. It's a little bit different, especially now with the decreases. So section 4 ended up a little bit shorter than section 2. Yeah. Okay, so here I'll show off past one. So here was my section 1. So it has rosettes at the bottom and then Lily of the Valley, which I really liked. And then section 2 has this cute rosette section. And the only thing with section 2 is you really do have to pay attention and count on the backside too. It's not so many rest rows like the other sections were. And then section 3 are these cute little hearts. Aren't they adorable? It was so much fun to create them going opposite ways. I enjoyed that. Oh, Lisa's on the second page starting the second column. Wow. Lisa's going so quick. Feed demons over there. So yeah, so section 3 was hearts. They had nice, easy rest rows on the back. And yeah, it's a nice short section actually. It didn't take not too many rows. The thing is with the longer rows, with more stitches, you get to do less rows in a section. And Linda said to me this morning, you're more than welcome to share my picture that she posted. There is her section 2 and 3 completed. It looks so good. It's neat seeing all your progress in the different sections and different colors. Oh, Linda is very impressed with leaves. I agree. All right on page 2. That's going pretty fast. Because there's is that one 4 pages? Let me see. It's neat seeing the different sections and different yarns. Okay, yeah, section 2. Yes, well, she's in the 20s now. Yes, there's only 4 pages for section 4. So only 60 rows altogether. That's not too bad. And hopefully no mistakes in this one. So Valerie has been test knitting for me and working ahead. I have to get section 5 typed up for her today and sent off to her. and then she'll start working on that. But last week on section 3, I thought I had changed all the things, because what happens is the quickest, easiest way for me to do any publications, that especially ones that are repeated, or I have a specific setup for them, it's easier just to open up the old document and save it as a new one and make the edits. So I thought I got all the edits last week, and I missed one. Linda was a keener and had it downloaded. She's like, "Oh, you made a mistake." I'm like, "Oh crap. Okay, quick edit." Hopefully, there was only a couple other people that mentioned that they had caught that. Lee says, "Oh, thanks for taking a break watching this because I forget to count LOL." Yes, it's not the easiest to try and do that. Yeah, 4 pages, so she's in the 20s. Linda says, "Yep, I can't watch this and knit. Need to concentrate." I know, but we'll keep it short so you can get back to your knitting again today. I've been doing this while watching TV, and yeah, I spend a lot of time counting too. Lee says, "Glad it's not only me, LOL." Well, you should see my setup. So because this is quite the intense pattern to write, I got all of the stitch patterns out of books that I've got and made some adjustments. And so I've had pages spread out everywhere. And then when I write the pattern, every 6 rows is on its own little half sheet of paper. I have a stack, I have stacks of scrap paper kicking around my house and at work. And so all I do is I take the scrap paper and I start writing on it. And so the whole pattern gets handwritten that way, messily on the couch. I had to send Valerie an edit them one day, and I'm like, "Can you read my scribbles?" She's like, "I think I got it." And so she was able to figure out from what I was scribbling onto the paper. Yeah, so I have everything spread out, and then I'm counting and I'm writing, and some of it I was able to fill in and leave numbers blank so I can put them in as I go. But yeah, it's quite a mess. So I'd taken over the couch where Aiden usually sits, and because the dog also wants to sit with me, so it's too much for sitting in my regular knitting spot in the chair. So I've taken over the couch, and I said, "As soon as I get this section done, you've got the couch back, okay? I just need a little bit more time." So section 5 will be more pages than section 4, but remember, all the rows are getting shorter now. Yay! I don't think there was anything too tricky in section 4. Just the decreasing. Has anyone had any issues with the decreasing rather than the increasing? I did. Poor Valerie had to redo a couple of things a couple of times because I whipped through section 4, figured I had it the same length as what I had been doing. So I had my measurements correctly, and I did not. So then I had to shorten up section 4 and change up the decreasing pattern. Yikes! Linda says, "Hooray for shorter rows." Yes, except there's more of them. Yeah, so Valerie, I think, was about halfway through section 4. Yeah, when I told her on Tuesday night, "You're gonna have to stop and wait. I need help. I'm running out of yarn. I'm gonna have to rip some back and change things." And so thankfully, every Wednesday night is in-store knit night at the store. So Valerie was there, and we looked it over after everybody left and decided how to change it up a little bit. Thankfully, she hadn't got farther than I had. So I was able to make some adjustments. And then I had to adjust it again. Oh, it's all good. It's done now. Linda says, "I weighed my yarn this morning. I've got 40 grams left before starting section 4. Okay, well, mine is off the needles, and I've got this tiny little ball left, and it weighs 6 grams. So you should have some wiggle room there, because I know, Linda, I'm pretty sure knits looser than I do. So 40 grams should be okay for the last 2 sections. I don't want to show you section 4 or 5. I have to be careful when I'm holding this up. But here we go. So there's section 1 and 2. Oh, it's all tangled up. I've got some lifelines in here. Actually, the lifelines were super handy because I was able to see where the sections ended. So much faster and easier for taking pictures. Okay, and then there is, whoops, section 3. Whoop, I'm getting stuff away there. Lee says, oh, I didn't think of weighing it. Yeah, weighing it is super helpful, especially when you're designing something like this at tip to tip that's a little trickier. So I think you'll be fine though with 40 grams left. Because the idea was that each section would be about 20 grams. Some of them got fudged a little bit because some sections ended up taking a little bit more than others. Like section 2 ended up to be a little bit larger. Elise says, okay, I have 48 grams after doing those rows. Okay, so Elise, you've got lots left. Linda, if you want my 6 grams, you can have it. In case you run a little short. But yeah, you should be fine. I think you'll be fine. So there's section 3. Yeah, section 4 is a little section shorter than section 2. And then section 1, lots of decreases. I'm down to 6 stitches left on the needle. Linda says, I do knit looser than Lauren. If I need to, I have a solid color tip in section 5. Yeah, exactly. No biggie. Linda's looks lovely though. I really like how it's turning out. Okay, so I'm not going to show you any more of that because we're almost done. So next week we'll release section 5, and then after the live is over, because I want to show you guys section 4. So after the live is over, I'm planning to block my shawl. Linda has been blocking as she goes. I have not yet. But I can tell you one tip, because I already have planned how to block it. Running down the one side of the whole thing is this gorgeous infinity cable. So that edge is going to be the straight edge when you go to block it. If you haven't blocked anything before, the only reason we block things is to open up the lace patterns and to even out the stitches. So especially because we've got cables in here, cables and lace are a whole lot of manipulating stitches, and so they need to be relaxed into where they need to go. So by laying it down, wetting it, and then laying it down and pinning it, it just makes your work look so much nicer. So all of those, like the rosettes are really going to pop. The Lily of the Valley is going to look fantastic. That next section of rosettes will all open up. Everything will look fantastic after it's blocked. Mistakes and all. It'll look good. So you'll want to do that at the end. So my plan is I'm going to block mine right after next week's live, and then I should have the finished thing to show you the following week. So that's my plan. Try not to lose stitches. Linda says, ooh, and I've been doing baby socks with tiny leftovers of figuring weight yarn. Figuring out this morning, I need 19 grams for baby socks. Might do some stripes if needed. Ooh, that's cute. Yes, Linda's been doing adorable socks. Okay, so funny story. Linda was at the yarn shop the other day, last week, and she says to me, I can't find that sock pattern again. You know which one I mean, the baby socks? I'm like, yep, I knew exactly what Linda meant, but I could not think of the name of that freaking pattern. But I could picture it. I remembered what the little socks looked like on the sock pattern. And Linda loves doing cuff down socks on her double point. And so I went on Ravelry later, and I thankfully did have it saved in my favorites, so it wasn't hard to find. But I did send Linda the sock pattern later. It's called Cozy Little Toes, I think. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And then I, because that one's cuffed down, I did reverse it and publish it as a free pattern as well, I believe. That it's toe up. Actually, here, let me check. Oh, no, I can't do it here. I gotta do it. Hold on. Wrong window. I have to do it in the Sweet Yarns one because I don't have it saved in the Designer and the Dyer stuff, unfortunately. So let's see. I can post the link in the description too. Oh yeah. Okay, so Cozy Little Toes is the one that I sent to Linda. Paste. There you go. That's the one I did. I sent her. Linda says, oh, Lauren reads my mind. Thanks so much for finding that pattern for me. Again, no problem. It happens. And that spurred me on to thinking that what I really need to do is I need to create a list somewhere. Probably going to end up to be a blog post on Sweet Yarn's website that mentions all of my most recommended patterns, because I do recommend quite a few different ones. Looking to see if I can find that other baby sock pattern. There's some that I suggest to people all the time. Like, for example, any tin can knits patterns are great ones. I highly recommend those, especially if you are an enthusiastic beginner. They're great for, oh yes, this one is a free one. Okay, and here's my baby one to be the reverse. I'll post that one too. Okay, so here is, so if you like the cuff down version with all the ribbing on the baby socks, I reverse the pattern to do a toe up one, so you can do that as well. Oh yes, Linda says, yes, please publish a blog with a list of favorite patterns. So there's a lot of times being a yarn shop owner that people come in and go, oh, I want to do, I need to do this, or I want to make that. What patterns do you recommend? It can be a little tricky because everybody has their own taste. But like, for example, I always do recommend tin can knits patterns because they come in a crap ton of sizes. Like, seriously, baby to like 4 times extra large or something like that. Like, their patterns are free as well. They have fabulous instructions and YouTube videos if you need help. So that's why I like recommending them. And then, yeah, I try and find things for, I'm sure there's other patterns I've recommended quite a few times. So I thought that's what I should do. I should make a list and publish it probably on the Sweet Yarns website and mention what ones we do all the time or recommend all the time. There might not be ones I've necessarily knit myself, but ones that I highly recommend. So some will be under designers' names, some will be under different themes. So I've started working on that. I started a list. It's coming. But yes, if you are starting out on knitting or you're ready to advance your skills a little bit, highly recommend checking out any tin can knits pattern. Anyone. Linda says, speaking of fabulous instructions, Lauren, your instructions on the Sister Shawl are super clear. Oh, thanks, Linda. That's one of the things that I strive as a designer is to make the instructions super easy to follow. I tend to make do bigger fonts sometimes too. But I like things spread out and easy to read. And so, yeah, I do try. I would recommend any of my patterns just because they are, most of my patterns that I've written are actually pretty easy and not complicated, as long as you are an adventurous knitter. I haven't done too many crochet yet, but yeah, if you're an adventurous knitter and ready to step outside your comfort zone of skills a little bit, yeah, any of my patterns are pretty easy to read and follow. I do try. Oh, you like the beginning of the rows with the knit 3 and onward? Yes, that's one thing I like too. Because Linda's talking there about the I-cord edge. So where did oh, here. On both edges of the shawl, you've got the I-cord edge, and then At the one end, we have the cable as well. So throughout the pattern, I've made sure that I keep those stitches separate all the time. So it always starts with a knit 3. And then it's like putting in a stitch marker without having to put in a stitch marker. Then it says it keeps the elements separate in my mind. Yes, that was my goal too. I hate when I get a pattern and it's just like whatever. I'm like, okay, but I can't see where it's harder to find your mistakes, I find actually. And then we were talking the one night at knit night too, and I said to the girls, you know, all the patterns, like the pattern rows end or start the same every time. So you could put a stitch marker in right before that purl 2 and then the cable section, right? At that end. And then you'll know if you've screwed something up, you're figuring it out before you get to the end. And especially on the cable row where you've switched the stitches around, it makes it a lot easier if you've stopped before that and found your mistake than to have to try and undo a bunch more as well. So yeah, I guess we will call that it for today. I have to get working on getting the pattern typed up for section 5. So you can send that off to Valerie. And she's gonna get at knitting up that next section. Linda says, this is a great project for learning to read your knitting. Ooh, yes, that is true for sure. I highly recommend learning how to read your knitting. That means recognizing the stitches and the pattern they're moving in as you're doing things, so that you can spot your mistakes quicker and easier. Even if you can't fix them, at least you know where you made the mistake. I think that's one of the first steps in moving beyond being a beginner is starting to realize, you know, something's not looking quite right here. Not necessarily what you've done wrong, but at least knowing that you've made a mistake, and then the step after that would be being able to fix it. But hopefully, you have a yarn shop that you can go visit and get some help with on projects. I know I do that all the time. I help people with their projects quite often. So if you make a mistake or you get stuck, you're more than welcome to pop into Sweet Yarns and I'll give you a hand. Linda says, because there have been mistakes. Yes, we all make a few. I've made a few and had to rip them out too, especially on this design. And the more you practice, and I do try and explain how people have done things wrong so that they can fix them themselves, like Linda has. She's proud of herself for fixing a few. Yes, it's yeah. So beginners don't know if they're doing things right or wrong. The next step would be realizing you've made a mistake. The next step after that would be learning how to fix your mistakes. And then the fourth step would be comfortable to do them on your own. Elise says the same. Yes, I'm always impressed when customers are confident enough to try and fix the mistakes themselves. And then, I mean, if you make it worse, that's okay too, because I can still probably fix it. All right, so thank you for joining me today. I will catch up with you guys next week. If you have any issues with section 4, you know where to find me. Thanks for joining in today, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.